Maaliwalas na hapon sa inyong lahat. This is Sonia Mendoza again, the immediate past president of the Career Development Association of the Philippines, or CDAP. For today's episode, we are offering our high school parents a model that they can use to coach their children on how to make career decisions. What are the scenarios? Many students do not seem to be ready when they start taking up their college courses. One student that I can share with you was that during counseling, he confessed that he is suffering from major depression. Why? Because he did not like the course that the parents wanted him to take up. They happen to be a battery of doctors. And with good intentions, they tried to convince him. And this student, to show love for his parents, for the family, he agreed to try it first. So on the first year, about 75% of his subjects failed. On the second year, barely few subjects passed. And on the third year, sad to say, he needed to consult a psychiatrist. Only then, the parents realized he may not really be for this course. And so they allowed him to shift. And when we talked, I saw the passion of that student to take up a multimedia course. And with his dedication and really enjoying the tasks given to him to really master his art, he, on the first term alone, became a dean's lister. Would you believe that? And so there are so many cases that when they get to third year, or some of them even in the fourth year, would say they're not happy anymore. So some of them would decide to stop. It could be a problem for parents because they have been spending so much in school, and yet they cannot finish. In other cases, they finished and yet they did not pursue the course. They did not continue working in the same line. Now, parents also would want to see us, and they would ask how in the world we would be able to convince our children to take the course that may be good for the family, that may be best for them. That's another case. Then, there are many human resource managers who would say, there are some occupations that cannot be filled up because the applicants are not really qualified. And true enough, there are some from the Department of Labor who would say that there are many occupations in the government and yet it cannot be filled up. So what we are saying here, perhaps there should be a better intervention. We need to help the parents to handle the cases of their children. Now, our guest here is my former colleague. We both work together in what I consider state-of-the-art institution. We worked there for so long. And then both of us served the Career Development Association of the Philippines as two-time presidents. And now we still continue as board members. So I would like to present to you the presenter, the speaker who would help us, parents especially, to know what could be best on, rather than pressuring their children to take up a course that they feel their children will succeed, there could be other ways of doing it. So, my guest today is Miss Marie Jose, who used to be the president of the Career Development Association of the Philippines. We both worked together and served CDAP, and until now, we are still board members. So, Miss Mary was teaching in St. Scholastica's College, but because of this pandemic, we have to slow down. Yet, there are so many things that we can do together. So, I invited her to be with us today. All right? May I introduce to you Miss Mary Jose, who is very active in providing this career development services with the board members of CIDA. Good afternoon, Mary.
Yeah, hi. Hi, Sonia. Maaliwalas na araw, as you earlier said. So, and maaliwalas na araw sa iyong mga viewers. Yes, maganda yung topic mo, pero napakahirap gawan ng solusyon today, lalong-lalo na. Dahil I was just I was just remembering what you were stating about this person taking medicine up and his parents were not for it and all that stuff. And at the same time wondering, did the formulas of before still work today? Tama pa rin ba yung mga binibigay nating solusyon? Pati ako hindi ko rin masasabing tama. But then again, sometimes when you get to look at theories, you know when there are theories that are solid and you know there are theories that can be questioned. And so therefore, in terms of what I've been doing, even while I was in the school setting before, we really applied what we call the cognitive information processing approach for decision-making
That's right.
processes, no? For students. But let me just tell you, it's not only for students, it's even also for us. Kaya kahit na mas maganda nga kung nagtuturo ka eh. Because the more you teach, you really learn more. Diba?
Yes.
So, yes, so maybe we can have the slide on career decision making using the CIP approach theory. All right, there you go. If your audience can look at it, this is what you call the cognitive information processing approach theory. It was created by Pearson, Reardon, Sampson, and Lenz. I have to give them credit. This was created in 1971. And even if I've been trying to debunk this theory, I cannot debunk it dahil napaka-simple niyang intindihin. And kahit na nung namasyal, even when we went around nationwide, after I retired from the school setting and discussed this with the poorest of the poor, parents from the poorest of the poor, they readily understood what I was trying to convey. So if you will look at that triangle and look at your baseline, down there, it's cut into two, meaning to say 50% of that I need to know myself. And the other 50% is I need to know also the options I want to make. So, napakalaking portion yan ng triangle. So if you are an educator or a formator or a guidance counselor, teacher, whatever have you, anyone who wants to guide somebody in terms of their career, you need to look at these two major aspects. Ngayon, maliban sa knowing, kasi knowledge lang yan, di ba? After knowing that, you now have to come up with decisions. And that's the second tier of your triangle. Now, on that second layer, it's the theories are asking us, we need to also know how we make our decisions para klarong-klaro yung mga steps na pinapasukan mo. Okay? Meron siyang binigay na mga steps that there were steps given by the theories, and I will walk you through a little bit later when we discuss already um, a case scenario when we need to make career plans. Now, the little apex there, the little minute portion of that triangle is what you call your metacognitive state. That is your heavy duty terminology to having to reflect. We all need to reflect on the decisions we make, whether it was right or whether it was wrong. And if it was right or wrong, we need to go back again to the basic baseline of that triangle. Where did I miss out? Did I not know myself in this area? Or did I not find out about the requirements of my degree? So look, knowing myself and knowing my option. So simple triangle there for career decision making purposes. Even tayo, as adults, we can use this at any point in time. Let's say things are very difficult right now in terms of your place of work. And take, for example, our frontline nurses, especially. Um, they are faced with a lot of challenges in the hospital setting, and their life is at stake. What do you now, how do you now manage a career move in reference to your life? So you can still use this, find out what is of value to you and your family. It's still again knowing about you and putting value where it should really lie. So, bumabalik ka lang lagi dito sa klaseng framework na ito. So, there you go. That's what your CIP, that's only one half of the CIP approach. But we can move on a little bit later. So, there you go, Sonia. Do you have
Yeah.
questions for me?
Okay. Well, we see this. We consider CIP as a simple model for the parents to use, and not only for parents, but for every one of us to continue developing our career and be confident and be more productive. As we read today, there are many people who are disengaged, who are losing motivation. When I talk to some BPOs, they are saying so many of those we have here are very potential, intelligent students or young professionals, yet they don't seem to be so happy because this could not be the profession for them. But then, eventually, they begin to like it. Maybe they have discovered meaning in it and they saw some good relationship. And this model will be very helpful. I remember, Mari, when we were in Cagayan de Oro and we
Mm-hmm.
gathered parents of grades 11 and 10,
9,
9,
10, oo.
that,
Oo.
and
9, 10, 11, tama.
yes, and we separated students that, you know, they were handled by education.ph staff. They were so good in it. And we went with the parents, explained to them, you presented the CIP, and they easily understood it. And it was good. Yeah. So we continue with that.
Yeah.
Now, how do
Mhm.
you suggest parents should go about it? How do they
Right,
get?
right. Okay, yes. So, salamat, Sonia, for that sharing there in terms of our travels out of Manila, no? Right. So, ngayon, what now? Especially kunyari nasa grade 9 and 10 ang anak ninyo. If your children are in grades 9 and 10, how do you now guide your child? So, we can move on to the slide where we're showing that a parent needs to be a coach,
Yes,
not an
yes.
enforcer. Okay? Alam natin yan. We all know that when we get in touch with our kids, there's already a barrier, an immediate barrier. Sawang-sawa na sa atin. They don't even want to listen anymore.
We
And
know that, Art.
therefore, yeah,
We know that
yeah,
because we both work in the same school and we listen to our students. Yeah. They
true.
want they want to give in to their parents, but their hearts are not there.
Yes, yes.
But parents with their sincere desire, to provide what may be best for their children, sometimes they just don't have the handle on how to do it.
That's
And
right.
therefore,
Okay.
after intervention,
Mhm.
the counselors may be able to provide something.
Right, right. So what we did actually, we applied this already, Sonia, and we saw that it works. Aside from telling the parents how to make career decisions, we also told them, remember that every time you talk to your child, especially when it comes to careers, do not wear your hat as a parent. Use another hat and make that as a coach. And what does a coach mean? A coach is a guide, a helper, a supporter, an encourager, a partner, not you as a person of authority or director. You have to get away from that mode. And mind you, um, the parents who were listening to us at that time were enlightened in a sense, uh, because they knew what their relationship was already with their own children. And so the that particular suggestion, wear a different hat, support your child, encourage them, um, gave them a new perspective. And so we further presented a dream card concept where we asked the parents to write down what are the things that interest my child. In one card, you had 4 frames. What are the things that interest my child? What are the skills that I think my child has? That's from your upper left to your upper right. And then on your lower left, what are the possible jobs that interest him? And on your lower right, what could possible high school tracks be for him? Mind you, that was a card given to parents. Okay? Now, on the other side, remember what we did? We separated the kids from the parents. We asked the children to also write down what are the things that I enjoy doing? What are the skills that I think I am good at? What are the possible jobs that interest me? And what are the possible career tracks that I would like to take? Now, I think the good thing here, Sonia, was that since the two individuals were doing this card separately in different environments, right?
That's right.
When we gave them the opportunity to meet, with one another. That's where the miracle happened. Don't you think so? When mommy and daddy started sharing their dreams, their their concepts about their own child, the way they thought that their children were good at, and what they had in mind for a possible job, and what they wanted, sana, what they wanted was written down and given to the child. And at the same time, the child in return presented also his wishes. So can you imagine that it gives me the goosebumps actually right now? Um, if you were a parent, can you just imagine? Oh my goodness. So these are the activities or subjects that my child knows. These are the skills that my child believes he is good at. This is the job that interests him. And this is the possible track that he might want to take. Now, um, you know your own child. You know whether or not he assessed himself properly or not properly. Then this exchange of cards provides you now the venue to communicate. And isn't that the most beautiful moment in time?
That's correct. That's
Yes.
I remember it's not only in Cagayan de Oro, but in Cebu, Iloilo, and when we went to different places here in Metro Manila, particularly Quezon City, Taguig, where there were 4 schools. When we met the parents, and when the first time they heard about this, I think that was just the first time a dialogue happened between parents and their children. Parents were so amazed to listen to their children. Oh, these are their strengths, these are their longings, their dreams, their desires. And children also at least heard for the first time what are the reasons the parents have in their minds and in their hearts why they are trying to convince their children to take a certain course. But it's really a beautiful exchanges that we witnessed while they were doing that in our workshop. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Let me just share a past story, Sonia. So, after making mommy and child meet, we usually also move to a plenary session where sharings also happen. And let me just point out to you a most recent happening where one one child spoke up. And this was just a story relayed to me. One child spoke up and he said, I want to go to the Philippine Military Academy. I want to go there, but my mommy doesn't want me to go there. And so the parents stood up. This is already the whole crowd, no?
Ah,
The
ah.
parents stood up and the mother said, of course, my child, I cannot allow you to die. So there you go. Parent now expresses her utmost fear. And the child also expressed his utmost desire. Well, take note, um, after the two shared, there was another parent who raised her hand, and that parent said, may I share something, please? She said, you know, my parents, my own parents were in the same predicament as you are in right now. But do you know how we ended up solving the problem? My brother also wanted to go, and my parents didn't want him to go. But then it really happened. He went for it, went through it, and she said, well, guess what? Right now, he is a high-ranking official, but he is taking care of the human resource side of the military.
So there's no need to go to the war.
There's no need. Yes, yes. So that there are other avenues for professional growth, even if you think, yes, that's a one track mind there. Okay, so yes, so here you go. When parent and mother meet, a child, and when parent and child meet, this is where this communication really happens. And then, of course, mommy knows now what her child wants, so they can both, mommy and child, now get to explore together. They are now more open. The windows, the doors, everything that was closed before is now on an open plane. You've now developed a friendship, partnership kind of
We
relationship
both,
between the two.
we both witnessed it, Mary. And the last
Yeah.
time we worked about this kind of thing in one school in Tondo, there were so many students and parents participating. You remember that? And it
Yes,
was
yes.
so cute that some parents are saying what seems to be ordinary becomes extraordinary when we are able to listen and find out what is really in the heart of my son, my daughter. What is cute there, pa, yung parents got to know after our input, di ba, I started talking to the parents and then I let them listen to your input on CIP.
Mm-mm.
I remember some parents started asking in some group that we were monitoring, they asked the question, kayo alang anak, if you really wish to be this, uh, do you do you understand if you have talent on this? Uh, one son would like to become a chef someday. And then the mother said, you don't even know how to cook egg. You do not even know how to. So I hope you will try to find out, ask yourself first whether you really have the talent. Or, it's not just an interest, but a talent. Well, that was cute.
Yes, yes,
Kind
that's right.
opportunity will help them indulge with a dialogue that
Mm-hmm.
help them arrive at a better conclusion and decision.
Right, right. Well, yeah, maybe what I before we close in on the parent-child encounter, that's why I call it a miracle because the opportunity for the two to talk is there, no? But then again, as an ending, remind the children to say, "Mommy, thank you so much for taking care of me." You know, that alone melts the parents' hearts. Anything you say, my child, so that is the beginning of another chapter of their lives.
True.
No? Mm-mm, mm-mm. Now, yes, the other aspect that we need to also impart, Sonia, I think, is what do you do now? Okay, assuming I want to cook or I want to do this, but what what where do we run for resources? Okay? Siyempre, you always have the teachers. That's one. You have your counselors. That's two. These are in your school settings, no? You have career counselors in the school setting, and then you have teachers. You also have your own relatives to run to for role modeling purposes. Let's say he wants to become an artist and you have an auntie who is an artist. Why not go and visit Tita and ask Tita, how did you become a great artist? Or how did you become a dancer? How did you become very good at your profession? Can you walk me through it? So visit, go to
Yeah.
as many places as you can. knock on the friends of your friends, your colleagues. If you're the parent, go to your colleagues. Hey, my child would like to learn more about artificial intelligence. Can you just walk him through so that he has an idea of the things that he needs to get to know so that he has a grasp
That's
of
right.
of
Yeah.
something that he will want to do in the long run.
Yeah.
Now, remember we partnered with educacion.ph, and I will highly encourage everyone in the Philippines,
Our
libre
partner,
ito. Libre ito. This is for free. You can access it. You can access it to your phone, your computers, whatever. Go to www.educacion.ph, because especially for those of you who are in grade 9 and 10, and let's say you're not sure of where you want to go, you can start clicking there. They have very friendly infographics for the kids. If you want to become a cook, click on the icon that's a cook, and it will show you what are the things you need to know about being a cook and how hard being a cook is, and how else you can, where, what schools offer cooking. It also talks about scholarships. So all the information is laid out there for free at your fingertips. You don't have to move out of the house. It's very COVID-19 friendly, if I may say that.
yeah.
So think about it, parents. Even you can enroll there and enlist there. Visit the site, because both of you, your child and you, should go into it and then thresh out, oh, ito, is this the career you want? Let's take a look at this career. What are the schools offering this? How far is this from the house? Malapit lang ba ito? Or do you really have to transport yourself to Manila if you're all the way in Mindanao? Or look for other schools that might be offering the same course. Everything is there. So do it wisely and smartly and economically. Cost benefit wise, that's the best way of
Yeah.
really selecting. You were
Yeah.
saying, Sonia?
Oh, I remember years ago, maybe in 2017, when we went around the
Mm-hmm.
country, the
Yes.
first time we introduced this, at least when we tried to monitor, track down the students who made their decisions on the basis of this model, I would say many of them said they're happy because they
Yeah.
have gone through a process where, number one, the counselors help them to discover more about themselves. It is very basic to know more about your gifts, your talents, your skills, your aptitude. It's not just a matter of interest. But if you can match
Mm-hmm.
this all, the better. And consider the capacity of your parents. If you make a choice, it's not only one aptitude that God has given us. There's so many. A matter of discovering more about yourselves and where can you be more good at, where can you be more productive, and regardless of what happens in the workplace, you can still engage and be part of the company's, coming up with reaching out for a vision mission. And that means if a company is doing well, the country's economy will also progress. Yeah.
So
So
true. So true.
uh, we all have to do our part. We, as counselors, parents, now we are teaching them how to coach, not pushers.
Yes. Yes.
Not insist on becoming like them, but respecting, no? Bawat isa ay mahalaga, bawat isang anak mahalaga. It's not like a parent would say, anak, ganito ka na lang kasi hindi ka naman masyadong magaling kumpara sa kapatid mo. Parang, you know, sometimes their children cannot understand that parents are supposed to support them, uh, you know, find meaning in their personhood and help them to inch out on the best possible career that they can take up and bloom, no? Yeah.
Mhm.
These
True.
things can be very helpful. I'm just reminded that maybe before we end, there are many reports that the Girl Up polls
Mm.
in
Mhm.
2013 reported that there were only 13% in the global work who are engaged in their work. Could be sad. And then recently, Girl Up polls came up again with a global work saying nadagdagan.
Mhm.
However, it's a seesaw effect because maybe of many events happening, not only in the Philippines, but around the world. Now we can say there could be many factors that are very important that we need to take into our hearts, especially we parents. Our schools are not neglectful of what they can offer. They are trying their best regardless of minimal resources, especially this time. Yet, they know they have the vocation to give the best to their students. I think there are two very important things to remember here to summarize, Marie. No? First is the understanding fully well of yourself. If it is
Mhm.
self-aware, no? And then number two is the workplace. Maybe we parents, teachers can help our students, our children, to take a look on some factors operating in the workplace in case they are through and start looking for job. First, the meaning of their course, their profession, the meaning of what is it that they are going to give to the company, the job fit, relationship fit, the culture fit, the
Yeah.
lifestyle, and finally the financial. If they put first how much they are going to get, then they might get frustrated without all the other factors or elements that I have mentioned and what you have talked about.
Yeah, Sonia. Yeah, but then again, like right now, I mean, given our own situation, I think most of our workers have no choice, no? Whatever job is available, well, they will just have to grab it for the meantime.
For the
However,
meantime,
that's not going, yes, it will not be forever. Well, I would like to also quote Pele, who was one of the most famous football players, and in fact, he's an icon in Brazil, no? When he said, ooh, when he said, um, success is no accident. It is hard work, perseverance, learning, studying, sacrifice, and most of all, love of what you are doing, which is still true, and I think will always be a classic guide for all
that,
of us.
that is right. Yeah. But you mentioned meaning. No? You mentioned there seems to be no choice right now. Many are
Yes,
into career transition out of love,
yes,
out of the
yes,
desire to survive decently. So, Filipinos, you would admire Filipinos for the virtues of patience and perseverance. They are
they
so
are resilient. Yes.
yes, and they're so loving, family loving people. We are all like that. And because of that, we find meaning in whatever we choose to do. for as long as we can still continue providing for the family.
And I think it
And
really springs, Ren,
yes,
from the fact that we are a prayerful nation,
oh
right?
yes, and
It
we all
starts
believe,
there.
yeah, we
Mm-hmm.
all believe this will pass. Walang forever. The only forever is God's love. Yeah.
True.
So,
Walang
kapayapaan,
forever.
meaning, and the relationship, magka-thrive na dyan ng mga Pilipino. No? Lalo na estudyante natin, nako, big deal ang relationship. There's so many things about this because what we're talking about is building a self-worth of who you are and what you are capable of doing and contributing so that you become productive. No? So, become a part
Knowing,
of,
uh-huh,
yeah,
knowing that you're making a decision with the right framework.
yes, yes.
That's exactly what we're wanting to convey over for now.
Yeah. So for
Mm-hmm.
now, siguro we can connect it, Mary, to the adage that says,
Mm-hmm.
give people fish and they can live for that day, but teach them how to fish, then they can live for a lifetime. Tamang-tama. No? This is very much connected to the topic. And so we want to leave our viewers a very good idea and hope that we continue to live and become productive and be happy.
Yes.
Okay? So with this, I would
Amen.
like to say, maaliwalas na araw sa ating lahat.
Maaliwalas na araw.
Thank you very much, Marie. It's another golden hour to be with you. Thank you for the contribution.
Thank you too. Thank you.
Bye!